Hi and welcome to free Excel tutorial videos. Today I'm going to show you how to use a single function to get results from multiple criteria. And we are going to look at two functions here today in this video. First, we have the dsum function, which is available and works in all version of Excel. And we also have the SUMIFS function, which is available in Excel 2007 or in the newer versions. So over here in this spreadsheet, I have the SUMIFS function in this cell. Okay, so let's take a look at it. I have the name range here. Uh, the syntax here that I got, I have the name range here made, which I created. And this is the quantity that I want to sum based on the pair range and the criteria for that range. Okay, we have criteria range number 1, which is the months. And then we're going to use a comma to separate the argument. And my second criteria is the product range. Okay, and the criteria that I wish to search for is here, pointing to the cell G4. Okay, and we're going to be looking at the criteria from the month name range in cell F4. So what it does is, if I type here February and mixer 2, SUMIFS function is going to give me the amount of mixer 2 that is made in February. Okay, so let's click here, Control Enter, and what I have here is in February, 17 units of mixer 2 has been made. Okay, so let's see how this works. Again, let's come over here and change this to January and change this to, let's say, mixer 9. Okay, and let's do the formula all over again. So we start off the SUMIFS formula with equals, and we type in SUMIFS. Remember, it's the SUMIFS, not SUMIF. Okay, it's the plural one because uh, we are using more than one criteria. Okay, and because I'm using name ranges to enter into the argument, I can use the keyboard shortcut F3 and enter the name range into the dialog box. Okay, so the first argument I'm enter is going to be made. Okay, and I'm going to put a comma to separate the argument. You see, we need to be pairing the criteria range with a criteria in that range. So the criteria range 1 is going to be the month. So again, I'm going to use keyboard shortcut F3 and I'm going to select month. Okay, and then comma again. Then we point to the value to serve as the criteria, which is this cell over here. Okay, because we want it to be looking for January. Okay, and then we put a comma again, and then for the second pair, criteria range would be the product range, which is the product name range. So I'm going to use F3 again, and I'm going to enter the product name range and comma again. So, and then I'm going to point to this cell over here because I want the formula to look to that cell to see the value. And lastly, I complete the formula with by closing the bracket, and let's enter. So the result gives us 20. So that means in January, there are 20 units of mixer 9 being made. Okay, so to verify this, we can come over here to this data set over here and apply the filter. So the easiest way to apply filter is right click, um, select filter. No, you have to come here, right click filter, select the cell value, and let's see, let's select January, and the product, let's select only mixer 9. Okay, so you can see it's 20. Okay, so the formula is, they have given us the correct answer. So let me use Control Z to undo the filter, and that is how the SUMIFS function work. Okay, let's change this to, let's say, March, and put here mixer 6. Have to be uh, accurate with the entering the value. So we have 6 units of mixer 6. I mean 11 units of mixer 6 made in the month March. Okay, so that's how the SUMIF function work. Now let us take a look at the DSUM function. I have here, I copied the data set over here, the same data set, and I want to use it for the DSUM function. Okay, so up here I have an exact what you call it, I made a reference for the labels over here. Okay, and the easiest way to make a label is just come to the cell here. As you can see, I have here equals A8, so I'm making the reference to this cell over here, this one as well. I just go in this cell and type equals, let's say equals, and just select the cell and hit enter. Okay, this is the way you can make reference. And okay, and I have here the formula for DSUM function. So let's take a look at the formula. Let's break down the argument. So DSUM actually stands for database sum function. Okay, so it sums a database. So it can be database average function, it can be a database mean function, but in this case we're using the database sum function. With a database, you need a range that includes the label as well as the value. So notice here, I have created the name range. I have created a name range database over here, and it includes the label. Okay, it includes the label. Okay, normally in a name range, like a normal name range, we will not include the label. Okay, but for using the DSUM function, we need to have a database that includes the label. Okay, so let's come back here to the formula. So I have here the database, okay, as the first argument here, which is the database, and the second argument is going to be the point to the field that you wish to in the what in this case it's here, cell C8. Okay, this is where we want to point to the label to. Okay, so this is the label that we wish to summarize with the function. Okay, how many units were made. Okay, so and the final argument is to point to the criteria. So the criteria is cell A3 through B4. Okay, so the function will look at this criteria, these two, the month, the specific month, and the specific product, and give us the result. Okay, so when you conclude, you include the label as well as the values. So here, the range that we're going to look is the month March, which is the criteria, and the second criteria range is the product, and mixer 3 is the pair to that criteria. So we have the answer over here, 23 mixer made of mixer number 3 is made in in March. Okay, so now let's change this. Okay, let's change this to February. So I have changed this to February. I wish I already done. And let's change this to mixer, say mixer 2. And notice that when I change this one here, the result doesn't change because the function is looking from here, not here. Okay, so we have to change over here as well. So let's just copy this, put it here, and you can see once I do that, um, the result changes. Okay, because there's no mixer 3 made in February, and I change it here, you can see the result is 17 units of mixer 2 is made in the month February. Okay, so that is how the dsum function works, and let us verify if the answer is correct. So we have February mixer 2, we have 17 units. So let's come over here and apply the filter. Let's go to February, deselect March and January, and for the product, let's just select mixer 2, and we have 737. So we have 17 units. All right, 7 plus 3 is 10, 10 plus 7 is 17. So we have 17 units of mixer 2 made in February. Okay, so let me undo this filter. Now I want to show you something that is more advanced. What you can create is a drop down list. Okay, a drop down list that you can change, like some here you can change the month, and you can change the type of mixer, and you can get the results over here. Okay, here I have the unique values for the months and the unique values for the product. So what I am going to do here is create a name range for January to March. Okay, and I'm going to name it months plural. Okay, remember, hit enter, and I'm going to do a name range for the product as well. So let's select the cells, come here to the name box, type products plural, and hit enter. Okay, now I'm going to use data validation. So I'm going to create a drop down list over here. Okay, so go to the data tab, select data validation, and allow a list. So for the source, we can use the keyboard shortcut F3 and choose the name range, the appropriate name range. In this case is the months plural. Okay, so click OK and hit OK again, and we can do the same with this one. Go to data validation, select list. For the source, keyboard shortcut F3, select products plural, and hit OK. So now we have a drop down list for March and for this month and product. So we can go through and select any combination over here and get the result. So let's come over here, select January, come over here, select mixer 4. We have the answer is 14 units were made. Let's go to mixer 5. We don't have mixer 5. Mixer 6, mixer 7. We have 17 in January. So let's come here to March. Come here to mixer 9. We have 14 units. Okay, so that is how you can use a single function like SUMIFS and the dsum function to use on multiple criteria in Microsoft Excel. Okay, now that you've learned this, we have come to the end of this tutorial. So I hope you like the video. I'll see you in the next video.